It is about the capacity, and capacity for women to take care of themselves.
Mm. And would you say more about that, the taking care of themselves? What do you mean when you say that?
I notice in me that the way that I was taking care of myself before I started going through healing and transformation processes was from a place of I should. Like I should sleep now, I should brush my teeth now, I should spend more time with people now, I should eat good food. And then as I started cracking through these shoulds and bringing my being forward, I didn't have the inner structure to take care of myself from inside. And as I'm speaking, I get the sense also that those skills were not passed down from, in my experience, from my mother or the woman around me, of what it really means to have a female body and take care of a female body with a cycle and with the relationship to the world in that way.
And how is it going for you, that transition of taking care of yourself and moving from the I should to taking care centered in yourself and not in a should?
I notice that it's very bumpy. So I've had, I keep speaking about the menstrual cycle. Like I've had periods when I'm bleeding or coming into when I'm bleeding, where my numbness, because my numbness bar is lower compared to when I was before started doing feelings work, and that meant that my feelings would, like any emotions that I haven't been feeling throughout the cycle before, really came forward and came super accessible to me in this period going into before I started bleeding, and then whilst I'm bleeding. And then I've experienced myself coming out with huge rages, huge amounts of grief, because it's so clear to me, I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going to stuff this down. I'm not going to pretend this isn't happening. And I go through it, and it's emotional because I still didn't have I still hadn't taken care of myself throughout my cycle to like let that come through. And then I also still didn't quite take care of myself to really protect my bleeding time, so that I've got no calls or I've got no commitments, or it's not even that. It's like so that my life is coming through me in what is my reality. And this is really like motion sickness. It's really disorientating to transition.
Could you say more about that? Why is it disorienting that the transition? What do you mean about that?
the sensation in me of what I'd experienced is that taking off the layers of of conditioning and relying like outside of me for what it is I should be doing, it put me into a state of groundless free fall and a sense of like, okay, well, if it's not that, then what is it? What is it that I need? What does it sound like and feel like when I'm bringing what is my reality, what it is that I need into the world? How does that go in a conversation in a micro moments? What are the skills that I need to have now so that when it's like this disintegration happening and then having to rebuild from scratch of what is not there yet.
You have something else popping up.
Well, what is coming is that I don't think I'm alone. I think that this is super.
Well, no, and I really think that what you're saying is, well, I'm holding space. I will be holding space for a 5 bodies journey, and it's really in line to what you're saying. To people move from the shoulds into each one of the bodies and move from there. And I've been noticing also that I was moving from the shoulds and the pressure. I still do that. And I'm navigating, how do I get back, or how do I go to the track where I am going into this flow? It's a flow. I really sense it as a flow. And this taking care is not just taking care of my physical body, it's also being in life, flowing with life. Just like you said, life flows through me. But the way life flows through me, it has a particular, it flows in a particular way because I am me. I am not you. I am not someone else. And what is my particular way? And when I'm aligned with that, I notice that it's like I blossom. It's literally this warm, fuzzy blossoming, like, and I go into it. And so, well, I love the sensation. I want more of that. And I notice that that's when I'm aligned with who I am. And I think it has a really strong connection with the 5 bodies. And the more I do that, the more I align with them, the more I enter that state of living life from who I am, as me being at the center and not the should or the pressure.
I have this half-formed thing that's coming up for me as you're speaking is I noticed I've stopped asking a question which I used to ask all the time, which was like, what is my next step? Like I used to ask this a lot. And I've stopped asking it because it feels clunky in my system and my mouth. It feels like I'm asking that into the should space. And it's this blooming thing is I'm curious about it and also attracted to it, and it also feels more close to my reality, is that learning to unfold there inside of me is life. I mean, literally my eyes just keep on landing on these flowers beside me. And this transition is huge. It's such a massive liquid state. It's such a different sensation of relating to the world and my experience of the world, because it's like there really is nothing outside of me that will have an answer that I'm looking for. And at the same time, it's still growing. Like the thing in me is still that muscle and that the blood flowing through me in there is still growing. And this is the messiness.
And so how does this bridge house look like?
Yeah. The question, I feel like this joy at the question, because in my heart somewhere there's elders. Yeah. Like these women,
There's what?
elders.
Elders, okay.
Yeah. It's like women that have a certain capacity of holding space for life happening. Yeah, because my fear is that what is my fear? I can't really tell. And I do have this question, like, for you, is that what is it that you've noticed in women's bridge houses that you have been a part of that have like scaffolded or provided spaces for women to learn how to take care of themselves, like from the inside?
Mm. So what I've noticed, and it was something that it was not conscious and it was a byproduct, is that when I am in the presence of other women, I I heal and I'm deeply nourished. My emotional and energetic bodies are deeply nourished, and I wasn't aware of that. And so that was the main thing that I noticed, was just by being around them, I was taking care of myself because of their energy, because they are women. And then and there wasn't really a structure, like this is what you could do or what you could try, but there was an open invitation for women to follow their impulses. So naturally, women started holding space for things they wanted to. And so one of them was to, for example, work out. And the impulses were really coming from one of the women wanted to work out. because she does that to take care of herself. And then naturally, the ones that also wanted to do that gravitated towards that space. And then a tradition was created and they were exercising every day. But somehow, for me, that was not the type of practice that my body wanted. My body wanted something more fluid and soft. So I was doing it at the same time as them. I was just not doing the same practice, but I listen to my necessity. So, and I noticed now that several things kept on popping up. This thing of being together and asking questions in the moment and going through the processes when they arise, it's just nourishing. The depth is something that nourishes me deeply, and I was craving and starving for that. And so that was another layer that I noticed happened. But I think that having a clear purpose of doing something like you're saying, that will open other spaces and other questions. And yeah, I think it's really about coming into experiential reality. Without being in experiential reality, there's no way someone who would know how to take care of themselves, because they're not present, they're not listening to what's happening inside. And then the shoulds have more weight, and they grab onto the structure, and that's from where the person is moving and not from their inner world, which is aligned with the feelings, the energetics, the intellectual, the physical, and the archetypal. And there's also a different sense of time when someone is in that place. Time is not the same. And the pressure from time created by modern culture cannot touch someone in that place. So for me, it's really about holding space for myself to slow down my time and to discover what is really my time, at what speed am I moving. And it doesn't really matter what kind of speed it is, as long as it's mine. But for that, I need to slow down first so that I can, oh, this is it. And now I want a little bit more and move from there. And be in connection like we are just now, speaking with each other and flowing through questions and explorations. How amazing is that? If you and I are moving from a should, this conversation will not flow. There's no agenda. We're discovering what is there to be discovered. What does your being want to discover than mine? And we are holding space for each other from this place of experiential reality, which happens from the inside.
Yeah. It's occurring to me that the space is about taking care of yourself, and it's more about how do I stay out of, well, be living from experiential reality. How do I, as a woman, live from experiential reality?
Yeah. And then, without trying, the care is there, because the care will be different for everyone. There may be some food that my physical body craves. It doesn't make any sense for your physical body. And people live in all these forms of how things should be. We should eat at this time. We should have this type of food. You don't eat this at this hour. And then we are not connected with what we really want and need. Because there are all these sets of shoulds and rules that are sticking to our experience. And so the purpose would be to, that those are constructs, really. Taking care of oneself is a construct that has a different shape and size for different people. And so how does someone get out of a construct? It's by moving into experiential reality. That's one of the ways that I know, is to move into experiential reality. And from there, I start experimenting. Does this work for me? What do I really want? And to open that exact movement you were doing, like you opening this, and from behind that, oh, this is it. And for you, it could be you just have one meal a day for 2 days, and then you need 4 or 5 or 6. Who knows? And who cares? Only you can know. But if you're inside of a construct, there's no way that you'll figure it out, because you'll be moving through the rules and shoulds of your parents, your friends, the people you live with, the woman in the bridge house, modern culture. Like, we should do yoga because yoga is good, or you should stretch because stretch is good. I don't know. I haven't experienced that. How can I know? It's just someone else's rule saying this is good for you. Okay, I will try it out. Or I will not try it out because that's not what I want to. But if it's not coming from this place, then it's like actually it's like a baby. Like, someone gives you something for you to eat, and you actually don't like it, but it's being forced down your throat, and you take it, and you take it as this being good for you, even though everything in you is saying, no, I don't want this. And so in my experiences about learning how to step out of being a baby and being fed with something that I don't even want, but somehow I lost the senses of, I don't want this. Move from that to, I will experience stuff and I will see how it goes, and then I will choose. But in that path, there will be emotions. There will be things coming up, emotional fear of doing something differently from everyone else, or from the people that I love, for example, or I'm connecting with. And also that needs space, because it has been a long time of being conditioned and being a zombie, and not following the urges that are inside. And I'm really passionate about this. I don't know if you can tell.
I'm really glad that you're passionate about it. And like, this thing that's brewing in me is, how is it that we move out of experiential reality? And what is it that you've noticed? I hear this thing about coming into the world as a baby with only experiential reality, pretty much. And what happened? Like,
So what happened for you? How was that for you?
My sensation when I sense into it is that it's very slow process of going like this. Like my experience of the world and this distance happening. Until I really had an experience of like this gap, this complete I'm living this way and there's this gap and it's not real. Like I'm completely disconnected from my sensations in my body, from my words aren't even connected to my experience. Like I could hear myself say things and who said that? Where did that come from? Like it doesn't.
So are you saying that you were experienced that while we were speaking just now?
No, when you asked me this question, I sensed like back in time, like back through my life, is that it has been a slow process of disconnecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. When I speak about that, I have this memory of I would be, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 years old, and I was outside playing with my friends. And it was so clear for me that the sensation of time was really, for me, it was slow. Time was passing by very slowly. And at some point in my life, time just started like rushing. I don't know where time goes. The experience of time. And I suspect that that this happens because I moved from experiential reality to verbal reality. And I was much more connected to experiential reality when I was a child and was when I was playing outside and I was inventing games with my friends and spending time with them. And then now it's coming much more from the mind, from a concept, from an idea, than from being anchored in reality. And what I'm getting is that it happens in different levels. Like the five bodies are not connected to reality.
Will you say more about that?
Yes. Uh yeah, like somehow this place you were talking about where it, there's an experience and there's this other place in where you are, this happens to each of the bodies. Like, let me check. Or do you have another question that can open this more?
What I hear is that there's something about being human that has the capacity to deny reality, and it can happen in each of the five bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for example, when your energetic body, my energetic body, is not here, like when I send a part of my energetic body somewhere else, I'm not in reality. I'm denying reality because at some point it was really painful. So I needed to get out of it. And the same, so numbing myself. What am I doing? I am denying reality. I am taking myself out of reality. And with my intellectual body, when I am going into concepts, ideas, fantasies, what am I doing? I am taking my intellectual body out of reality. and the physical body is, well, if I'm not present in my physical body, if my attention is not in my physical body, then I'm also not in reality. And the denying of the needs of the physical body, for example, I was sitting there and I was getting a pain and I wanted to move. If I deny that, I am stepping out of reality, because that's what's happening for my physical body. And this denying of reality has been happening since I am a child, either by someone telling me, oh, stop crying. This is my reality being denied. What I'm experiencing, my experience is being denied. If I am thinking about something and they say, oh, that's all your imagination, they are denying the reality of my intellectual body. And so each one of my bodies adapted and step out of reality to survive. So how to bring them back online?
Mhm.
And align them again with what is now inside of me, and the place where I am in the small now.
Mhm. And as you're speaking, my sadness and the thing that opens up is on a big scale, like globally and ecologically, the denying of reality is like it's here, like the evidence that we collectively have decided on all these levels to deny reality.
Exactly. It's happening in a global scale because it's happening with every single human being, or most of them.
And then what else is occurring to me is this is what initiation is about, is aligning again the five body reality of the person.
They say that again.
The initiation into adulthood, which is so necessary right now, is that process of aligning the five bodies of a person in reality.
Yeah, I get that. Because where does one has power? It's in reality. Where does authority happens? It's in reality. It's not in fantasy or, yeah.
Yeah, I find this super striking in reading of Water in the Spirit right now by Malidoma. And he speaks that in their culture, they have no word for imagination. Because like in adulthood, this part of being human is initiated into adulthood.
Yeah, and so they live in experiential reality. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I get from that. Yeah.
Okay, so how is it going to be? Where is it going to be? The bridge house.
Yeah.